Good evening, Mayra and Juan Pablo. How are you? Mayra, Juan Pablo, hi, how are you?
Good evening, teacher. I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, good. Let's wait some minutes to start. Let's wait 3 minutes more for Hugo, Leonardo, and Henry, okay? Hello, Hugo. Hi, Mayra, how are you? Mayra, do you guys hear me?
Yes, teacher. Good evening.
Hello. Mayra, how are you doing? Oh, we can hear you, Mayra. Could you turn on your volume? Turn up your volume, please. No, we can hear you well. No, we can hear you well. Now, could you try the sound, please?
Hello, good evening.
Okay, now we can hear you well. Were you okay last weekend or last week, Mayra?
No, I wasn't, teacher. I had dengue. That's
Oh,
why I didn't attend the encounter.
okay. And are you okay now, or are you still using any pill, any medicament?
Yeah, I feel better. I just have like my legs still hurt, but the rest is okay.
All right. Well, Mayra, you will have this week to work on the task that you had to give up last week, to hand in last week. So please send it to my email by Sunday.
Okay, teacher.
Good. And tonight, your classmates are going to share their presentations about a foundation. That was the task that they had. So I changed a little bit the presentations. I erased the information and I wrote some questions that is just for you guys to try to remember the information and make it like not read the presentation, but just try to answer the questions. So I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, this is Henry's presentation. So instead of the information he had in each slide, I just wrote a question that is answered by the information he wrote before. The same, I did the same with all the presentations. So I would like to know who wants to start, Hugo or Juan Pablo. Just try to remember the information that you wrote to answer the question. Since the idea is not to read the slides, but
Oh, okay,
to
teacher.
tell, okay, you will start. Good,
Break the ice.
thank you. All right, Juan Pablo, so you chose this foundation that is named Obra Social Unida, Sembrando Bienestar. That is a Christian foundation, right?
Right.
So we have two questions for the first slide. How long has the foundation been working in Colombia? Where is the foundation located and who supports the foundation?
Okay. This foundation, a Christian foundation, um, has been working in Colombia for about 18 years. Yeah, it started as a proposal of Iglesia Pentecostal Unida de Colombia, the church that I go, which I go. Um, yeah, this foundation was created if I'm not wrong, April, in April 2002. Yeah, and this foundation is located, is mainly located in Medellin. Yeah, it's headquartered there, although they work in over Colombia. And this foundation is supported by the members of the church. Yeah, for and the donations.
Okay, have you ever volunteered for the foundation? Have you
Um,
ever?
No, as a church, it's an entire organization. We support that organization with our ofrendas. I don't know how to say that.
Okay,
With our, yeah,
with the money you donate.
yeah, all the church in Colombia.
All right. So you help to support the foundation,
Yes,
but
right.
do you have the chance to offer your help to volunteer your time for any of the activities they offer?
No, I haven't. Maybe because where I live, there has been uh, uh, maybe a case where the foundation could work.
Okay. All right. Then we have in the second slide, we have the project. So what projects has the foundation carried out?
The project, the foundation has carried out three different projects. Yeah, this is humanitarian assistance, um, project management, and training and education.
Okay. What do they do for humanitarian assistance and where?
They help to the natural disaster and
Everywhere?
display.
Everywhere in Colombia?
I, I guess I guess so. I guess so. Yeah, it has attended a lot of disasters in Colombia, um, and even in other places. I don't remember to say. Ecuador, when was the earthquake, if I'm not wrong, it has helped to Venezuelans, has
Uh-huh.
helped Venezuelans, yeah, abroad.
Okay, so I guess the foundation is in different countries. Am I right?
Um,
Or the church?
the foundation is mainly located here in Colombia, but in other countries, our church exists. That's why the church helped that countries.
Okay.
However, the church doesn't help a Christian person. No, they help all the people.
Okay, good. And well, and you mentioned they offer also assistance related to management. That's the other action they carried out, right?
Yeah.
So how do they do that?
Um, they advise on implementation of productive projects. For example, I saw they in this moment they have, if I'm not wrong, 4 projects they are advising um, in their support. One of them is related to fish.
So if somebody wants to have a business related to fishing, they advise them for them to have to be successful in the business, or how does it go?
Um, according to I have read, I think they, according to the necessary, they implement that projects in the place where there are necessary
Okay.
to improve the opportunities, the job access.
So they create the business and teach the community in order for them to
Yeah,
start working in the project.
they have to create it. Yeah.
Okay, good. And the third project, I don't remember the one that you
Training,
mentioned.
training and education. Yeah, regarding to business. I don't know to say emprendimiento. That.
Entrepreneurship.
Uh, when skills for job and business to increase that skills.
Okay. Then we have on the third slide, what type of training? Well, that's the foundation offers. So you mentioned that they offer
Yeah,
training regarding management and education.
yeah, they look for no for other can I say institutions which can give that a training.
Mm, okay.
Convenios
Agreements.
agreements. Okay. For
So,
example,
yes.
in the picture you can see it, in one side there are some entities, yeah, Sena, Cafe, I don't remember, Comité Caficultores, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, and as you can see other entities there.
Yeah, here, Sena and uh the coffee organization.
Yeah,
So they gave the people of the community training on, I guess, selling or producing different products, right?
yeah, and yes, and the skills they have to they should have to do that.
Okay, so they develop the community's skills for them to be able to, let's say, sell or produce different products.
Besides this, the foundations um, do training about the strengthening of being, about that human, yeah, that
area,
that that what?
that human area, that human.
Yeah, to help people and the motivation maybe and yeah.
Okay, so if I belong to the community, well, you said they offer help to people who are not Christian. If people have problems that come from a disaster, so they get the help from the church. But if I belong to the church and I want to have access to any training, do I have to in a way like offer my help back after receiving the training, or
Mm,
how does it work? I mean, the whole community, the whole foundation gets support from the whole community. So all the people who belong to the church give money to the church so that the the community can have access to training, can have access to education. And what do people have to do in order to uh, help the church besides offering the money to support
the
the foundation?
the other people which that don't belong to to the church. I
No,
haven't.
if let's suppose I belong to the church and I
Okay.
have access to the training that they offer
Yeah.
regarding managing a business. I get the training, and then do I have to do something else for the church after receiving the training?
No, 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 no. You don't.
Okay, good. So next slide is well, concerning the management. So they train people, but what else do they do?
Yeah, they train first of all, and they help to create uh, the infrastructure. Yeah, to develop a productive a, a productive project. Yeah, for example, in the pictures you can see caña de azúcar cani. I don't remember how they helped to create a molienda, yeah, place where the caña I don't remember is processed, where it's made. And for example, they helped with training, yeah, to in the right, yeah, in the right picture you can see they provide training to 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 operate the machines used to sew.
Okay. Uh-huh. But
For
on the left, I have a question. The picture on the
yeah,
left represents the place that that the church helps to build, or only training on how to produce the product.
no, they have helped to create that infrastructure.
Okay.
If, for example, I saw to a planta de agua in La Guajira. Our church create that that planta de agua. I don't know to say that in La Guajira.
Okay. So
Another project too.
that that business belongs to the church or belongs to the people who work for that?
Uh, I don't know to answer that question, but I guess the community is
Is
the
the owner of
communities.
that? Okay. Then we have acknowledgement. So we have here an acknowledgement, and the question is, what entity acknowledge the service offered by the foundation?
In I believe that was in 2018, the Ministerio Interior. I look up in the dictionary. Home office is called the home office. Ministerio del Interior gave see an acknowledgement to the church because of that. that contribution to to the community.
Okay, good. That was 2 years ago.
It was in 2017.
Okay. Thank you, Juan Pablo.
Okay.
Good. Now, Hugo, it's your turn because your other classmates didn't join tonight, and Mayra didn't work on the project because she was on the presentation because she was sick. So it's your turn. Let me show your presentation. Okay, Hugo, you chose a foundation named Encausa.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, where does it work? Where does it impact? And how long have they been working?
Okay, the foundation has been working since 2008. It's 12 years. Um, they have an office in Bogota and another in Cali. Yes.
Okay. Do they work for a specific community in those cities?
No, no. They have they have projects. They have projects in Bogota, in Cali, in other regions, in Chocó, Quindío, and Risaralda.
Right. Do you happen to know who created the foundation?
No, not teacher.
All right, good. Next slide.
No.
We have a picture of children with different gifts. So in this slide, you have wrote information about some strategic lines they have. They organize the service they offer, the help they offer in 4 lines. Do you remember those lines of action?
Yes, teacher. They have four strategic lines. Future, planet, culture, and social equity. Social equity.
Okay. So for future, they receive a training. What type of training do people get, and in what communities?
They they have taught entrepreneurships, training, and craft training in some communities in Bogota, in Ciudad Bolívar and Fontibón.
Okay. In what type of training? Specifically about what type of activities?
Training to painting, in jewel. No, I have done jewelry, yes,
Jewelry.
jewelry. Tech, texture technique for painting.
So it's more related to crafts, things that you can do.
Yes, craft.
With your hands. Good. Then we have some training related to taking care of the planet? What is the information that people get in that training?
They have taught um, through training environment conversation, a conversation to communities, and also they they have done arborization days in some Bogota parks, like a picture.
Okay. Have you ever volunteered for that foundation?
No, no, teacher, no.
All right. Do you
But
have,
my mother has volunteered.
okay. How long has your mother helped?
Mm, Maybe uh, 4 years ago.
She started 4 years ago.
Yes.
Okay. The next slide is about culture. So what type of information regarding culture does the foundation offer to the communities? In what communities do they impact with their service?
Okay, they offers a course, a course of music, basic English, and entertainment course for children, such as puppets and theater.
Okay. Do you remember in what communities they offer that type of training?
In Ciudad Bolívar community.
Okay. Then we have that people can also have access to academic programs. How do they do that? How do they get or help people to have access to academic programs?
They have agreements with some educational entities and offer good discounts uh, for professional course,
Okay,
technical course.
good. And the economical support, what type of economical support they get?
The foundation received donations from people, from all people, and also it has support to um, to banks, Bancolombia, Colpatria, and the education entities.
All right. And that's the end. Okay. Any question for Hugo? Or for Juan Pablo?
No,
Okay. So we are going to work on an exercise to correct some sentences. Let's see. Okay, here we have a sentence, Hugo, and it's Encausa Foundation was created on 2008. Do you know what is the mistake there? Or any of you?
Yes, teacher. On.
Okay. Why? When do I use on and when do I use in?
Mm, mm,
Juan and Mayra, do you know? When do
Yes.
I use on and when do I use in?
Regarding the time, we use in when we are talking about years, months, yeah, regarding day, and we use on to the day of the days of the week, days, complete days.
Okay. So if we had here the month and the day, we would use on. Example,
Yeah.
on April 3rd, 2008. But since we just have the year, we need to use in. Very good. Okay, good. Let's move to the next one. Here we have the trainings have made in the neighborhoods of Ciudad Bolívar, Fontibón Bosa, and Rafael Uribe in Bogotá. So, Hugo, could you please translate the sentence into Spanish?
mm, el- no sé, los entrenamientos
Ajá.
están hechos. No,
Esta no
mm,
es estándar. Este es,
no, sí, no es están, está mal, es wrong. Em, tienen hechos.
ok, entonces, ¿qué nos falta aquí?
Have been.
Exactly, very good. Have been made in neighborhoods of Ciudad Bolívar, Fontibón Bosa, and Rafael Uribe in Bogotá. Okay, good. Here, one of the last activities was done at the end of the year 2019, where the foundation has taught basic English to the community of El Codito neighborhood in Usaquén. So here we're talking about an action, an activity that was done last year. So this is related to past, something that
Okay.
finished in the past. So I need to change this verb here. So how can you correct that?
Mm, one of the last activities was done.
Yes,
No,
yes,
at the end. No, eh, in 2019.
okay, was done in 2019, if you want. Okay, and what else?
Where the foundation um,
Translate it into Spanish and that's gonna help
ok, una de las últimas actividades fue hecha en 2019,
you. Uh-huh.
donde la fundación ha enseñado inglés básico a la comunidad.
Ok, pero si estás hablando de una acción que pasó en el 2019,
Ah, enseñó, sí, 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 sí. Excuse me, yes.
how do you correct it?
The foundation teach.
That's present, but this already happened and finished. Taught, only taught.
We taught, yes.
Uh-huh.
Foundation taught.
Entonces, una de las últimas actividades se hizo en el 2019 cuando la fundación enseñó.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay, remember that the use of present perfect is when the action happened in the past but continues.
Mhm.
So this is not the case. It already happened because you are saying here that was in 2019. Okay, good. Now we have Leonardo. Good evening, Leonardo.
Good evening. Good evening, teacher.
Well, Leonardo, I'm going to ask you to share your presentation. I
Oh,
have here your presentation, but I erased the information and I just wrote some questions that are answered with the information that you have written before. So the idea is that you remember the information, you tell us without reading uh, about the foundation that you chose.
okay. Okay. Yeah, teacher.
Okay, here we have, you chose the foundation that Yokoi
Candies.
Kenji started, right? That is
Yeah.
called Turismo con Propósito. Okay, so on the first
Teacher,
slide, yes, tell me.
teacher, a question. For example, this is a nombre propio. Yes. For example, the title of the foundation, I can I can write in Spanish or I can write in English. For example,
Both possibilities are okay. Since the name
yes.
is the original name is in Spanish, you can uh, write it in Spanish.
Okay, teacher. Thank you.
It's like when we translate the name of the universities, we can say National University or Universidad Nacional.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, good. So we have
Oh,
here what communities does the foundation impact and how long has Yoko been working for the foundation?
he has working in that community about 10 years. It's right to say for about or about
Four,
more? Okay,
yes.
teacher.
Okay, and in what communities does the foundation
And
have an impact?
Ciudad Bolívar, Ciudad, Ciudad Bolívar is the main community. And we know that Ciudad Bolívar has many communities, yes?
Many neighborhoods.
Yes, many neighborhoods.
So here you have the map.
Yeah.
So the next let's say big area is Bosa that also has many different neighborhoods.
Um, and there's a, excuse me, teacher, I have to say another. It's curious that another people have, have came from another communities, yes, and for example, another universities. I saw introduce presentation from the Universidad Minuto de Dios
Uh-huh.
and another communities came to this to these neighborhoods, yes, to
Help.
in order to watch his work because
Ah,
it's very curious. It's very curious because you see Japanese is here is very curious, but the way he learned the to getting better a person, yes, it's very interesting. It's very funny. Yeah.
yeah. So
So
you told us that he takes Japanese people to Ciudad Bolívar, right?
yeah,
That's what he does. And what does these people do?
they travel with the. They came here because they feel very depressed. in Japan, in another places, in another countries of Europe. Yes, because they have it all. Yes, so they don't have the a goal. Yes, because they have it all. So they decide say, okay, it's very funny because you say no. You came to Colombia, you 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 bring out the 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 wanted to commit suicide because it's here you have anything to do to fight and
Mhm.
but uh, mainly the Japanese uh, teach his their writing. Yes, their writing because their writing is made by signals. Yes, like these. Yes,
Some symbols.
the symbols and the symbols are very philosophical. Yes, very philosophical, very philosophical, and you know, they're teach that.
Okay, how long do these people or do Japanese people can stay
Uh,
in Ciudad Bolívar?
there are several quantity of time. For example, there are one is a main example. He he has been here for about yes for about 2 years. At the very first beginning, he has been here 1 month, 2 months,
Mm,
but he stay here. He decided to stay here for about 2 years, and he had been get married with a Colombian, and he lives in. He's a chiropractico. He practiced the chiropraxis. Yes,
okay.
on the at the very first beginning, he was he practiced the he gave his chiropraxia by free. Yes, yes, by
Uh-huh.
free is good. By free or free in a free way is I'm talking in what teacher
Well, I
when
would
I
say
say
he didn't ask for money
oh
for his job
okay, and now he has a many
for free.
many customers right here.
Okay. So there is not a limit of time, so it depends on how long each person wants to stay.
Yes, yes, yes. They stay, but the majority of the people back because they have like a kind of vacation because it's a they pay they pay for a vacation, real vacation. That's the name turismo con propósito because they pay and they enjoy and they enjoy.
Yeah,
They live another thing is they live in a typical home in a typical neighborhood in the south of Bogota. So it's very funny for
yeah, it
they
sounds
say
weird.
okay yes they say that, okay uh, arrive the Japanese and go for to the house. So they don't speak the family that that they haven't had spoke Japanese. So the Japanese either haven't had spoken Spanish. So it's very funny. And the people, the Colombian people, shout and say it's very special because
Two different
it's
cultures.
beautiful.
So yeah, it's weird because they pay to go to a poor area of Bogota for vacations.
Yeah,
And if you were asked if you would pay for doing something similar, maybe you would say, no, I want to go to a beach. I want to go to any other place different to a poor neighborhood.
and yes, he says he has said in the video that, for example, one day the the Japanese had arrived and go to the north. Uh, he goes. He had a. He have. They got. They have got robbed. Yes.
Okay.
Then he watched in another neighborhood a fight between combos, um, guns. Yes,
Uh-huh.
to say no, he's very. They say, okay, how do you like Bogota? He says, exciting, 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 it's exciting. Am I alive here? And it's incredible, but in Ciudad Bolivar that you listen is very dangerous. It's very, yes, nothing happened with
Yeah, it's strange,
only.
but in other countries, you would see that in the TV, there are a lot of TV commercials about products to help people um, to overcome from depression. Because, as you
Yeah,
mentioned, in other countries, nothing happens. Everything is nice. Everything is happiness. So
yeah.
here, we have many problems. So uh, we need help. So if people want to come here to help, that's great.
That's true. He's here is the 2 years ago. two
Uh-huh.
years ago, uh, was the first place in the world that we we were
The
the
happiest
happiness,
country,
the happier, yes, the happier
the happiest.
country, the happiest, yes, the happiest country in the world. So I am agree. Yes, we are happy.
But
We have many problems, but
we are not anymore. Now the happiest
yeah,
country is
the
Finland.
happiest, the happiest.
Well, I don't know. According to the news, now the happiest country is
Yes,
Finland.
yes.
Okay, good. Now the last slide is about the founder's life. So, what information do you have about him?
Okay, he's a Colombo-Japanese. I can say in English, Colombo-Japanese.
Uh huh.
This is a Colombian Japanese, but it's more Colombian than Japanese because um, his mother San, is from Santander and his father is Japanese. His father is an architect. No, I can remember. Yes, there was a time here in Colombia that many Japanese came here, for example, Toyota, big companies, and another came to a big to made has been came to 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 help us to construct represas. For example, the Tibito, no, the the big a big construction, big building here in Colombia. Yes, big dams, and there are many Japaneses. Then they went to. He grew up. He grew up in Central America. See, Central America,
All American.
in countries like Costa Rica, Panama, and he went to Japan. Yes, they
Uh
went
huh.
to Japan, and he have working as a polyglot translator, Spanish translator, in special. Yes,
Uh huh.
at the Latin American colony. See, colony is the colony
Neighborhood.
neighborhoods. Yes, um, but one day he lost he is fired. He has had fired. Yes,
He was
right.
fired. He
He
was
was
fired.
fired, and he got in a depression, and he got more. The depression increased because two or three or more of his best friend committed suicide. And he says, "But what I can I do?" And he think, and he remember what he said, what his mother say here in Colombia says in Spanish, no son penas, mal se perdió en el diluvio, con su avena y su pitillo. Yes, he said that he has the discipline of the Japanese, but the fresh of the, and he talked with her mother and well, no, say, oh no, and he and he compares if his friends good had been here in Colombia, he weren't commitment suicide. I had I had say good teacher.
If his friends had come to Colombia, they wouldn't have committed suicide,
Yes, and he decided to do that.
and that's
Yes,
why
he
he came
decided to
here.
say, oh
You
no,
know, a commonality between Japanese and American people is that
no,
is that
excuse me, teacher.
a commonality I found about between American and Japanese people is that they are very strict. Well, Japanese more than American, but
Yeah,
since they are very strict, they don't relax that much, and besides, in their countries there are less problems, so they suffer from depression because of that. They commit suicide in Japan. Is one of the countries in which where people commit a lot of suicide, and in America, in North America, there are also people who commit suicide because they don't relax, or they don't give time to relax to do different things, but they are very competitive because they know economical the economical world uh, requires that people work a lot, study a lot, do many things. So it's like the opposite of Colombia, where we have a lot of festivals, and we find the different activities to meet people, to work, to talk to friends. So that cause, in a way, I think that is one of the causes for for the for people committing suicide in those countries.
the the in Japan is question of duty or honor. They when he came where we came back to Japan, he started to work in a and many is one of the war is Japan is one of the countries where more people committing suicide. Incredible, yes.
Yes, yes,
And they say okay. They say the thing was they get in agreement with the owners of the factory and say okay, and and he get on a meeting with the employer and say okay, you can came one day of the week delay, come delay, no problem. Say no, I can't because it's a honor. And here in South America is at
it's
the
the
opposite.
opposite.
Please come on time. Yes. There in Japan, they say, no, I can't. Why? Why you can? Because it's honor.
Mm.
It's a duty. It's a question or honor. Yes. And yeah, it's an extreme. Yes.
Yes, it's the
And he says that
opposite.
in Germany is the same. The German are the same. They're
I heard
very,
that.
is a thing, is a question of honor.
Mm, very good. Okay, any question for Leonardo? Hugo, Mayra, or Juan Pablo about his presentation? Have any of you been to Ciudad Bolivar or to any of the very poor neighborhoods in the cities where you live?
Mm, when I was
Eh,
living in Cali, yes, I went to the, how do you say, Distrito de Agua Blanca,
Okay.
one of the poorest. When Caracol and RCN started to function, they brings for free antennas. How do you say antennas? Um, so I went to there, and the people said felt very happy.
That
And
was
I
nice.
went to very poor places in the most the poorest places in Cali.
And what about you, Hugo and Juan Pablo, Mayra?
No, I haven't, teacher, I haven't been to there.
You haven't been in any of those neighborhoods? And Mayra and Hugo?
Me neither, teacher. I haven't. I know they exist, and no, but I haven't had the opportunity to go to those places.
Hugo, what about you? Hugo?
I, yeah, yes, teacher. I remember that um, I was a voting jury, um, jurado de votación. I don't know say that.
Uh,
In
what's the word in Spanish?
jurado de votación.
Ah,
Uh, in a neighborhood in Ciudad Bolívar. The
yes.
name I think that La Estrella, maybe.
Uh-huh.
It was on a mountain, and it was very far away. Yes.
How did you get there? Were you taken there or did you go by your own?
No, I don't remember. I went in bus, in public bus. Yes,
Okay.
many
I
years ago.
I went once to Ciudad Bolivar, but I was taken by the members of a foundation because we were told that it was dangerous. So we were taken by them. And I had a family member who went to one of the poorest neighborhoods in Cali, and well, that was a tragedy for the family because he was killed in that place because he got his car to the place and then he was robbed and he was killed. So I have the two sides. So I've been in, as I told you, Ciudad Bolivar because of a foundation, and it was okay because it was the foundation who took me there. But then I also have the other experience of my family member. So I wouldn't go on my own. Okay, here you said voting juror. You said is jurado de votación. Voting juror. Okay, good. Before we listen to Henry's presentation, I would like you guys to work on some exam of some sentences, 3 sentences, again to correct them. So we have, he moved his family with his family to Japan. In this country lived 14 years. So there are 2 mistakes in that sentence. How can we correct it?
He moved out.
Uh,
Can I say he moved out with his family to Japan?
yeah, but that is not the
Okay.
mistake.
Maybe in this country have lived. Maybe the auxiliary.
No, it's you cannot have a verb without writing the subject who makes the action because the verb
This country
lived is the
he
same.
lived.
They lived. Of course, yes, yes, yes.
For 14
Okay, and
years.
the other,
For 14 years.
For 14 years, yeah.
okay. So there is other mistake.
Japan with capital letter.
Well, yeah,
But it's
but
another.
there is other one.
There is another mistake.
En este país,
In that country.
That.
en ese. Uh-huh. Okay, good. Then sentence number 2. He works as a translator for the Latin American colonies, started a business called Tienda Esmeralda
He worked with the past.
in the past. Yeah. And the other mistake,
Started that. Cap.
I don't know, maybe he started
yes, again, we cannot have the verb without saying who made the action.
in the connector.
Uh-huh. Good. And the third one we have, he works, oh no, it's the same, sorry. Okay, that was all. So finally, I would like you to listen to Henry's presentation.
Okay.
Henry, I erased information that you wrote and
Okay.
I wrote some questions.
Okay.
So you remember who created the organization and the aim of it?
Okay. Based on the information that I got from the website of Greenpeace, um, it doesn't describe a main a main a main person
Uh-huh.
who create Greenpeace. It says that I read that it was a group of people uh, who reunited in order to protest against the U.S. government.
All right.
Yeah, but it doesn't describe like a specific group.
One person. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they have had different projects. So
Hmm.
what type of projects and when did they start working on those projects?
Okay. they have so many projects, and they have done many projects along the planet. For example, one of the most important is against, they're trying to to protest in a peaceful way against the governments like the United States, Germany, France, Australia, Brazil, yeah. And the projects are focused on the global warming. Um, some months ago, when the the wildfires started in Amazon, in Brazil, the Amazon, they they had a project against a protest against the government from Brazil. Yeah,
Okay. Do you remember
and
the year when they started
the
those
year
those projects
1971, I think. I'm not wrong.
in the 70s?
1971. Yeah, the 70s.
Okay, good. What have they done against the grocery store exit?
Okay. Bueno, in Colombia, they are protesting against Almacenes Éxito because they think that it's not necessary the use of single plastics in fruits. Yeah. In my presentation, I show that picture, and they are against that method because they said they said that the fruit doesn't need a plastic because the fruits uh, they already have a peel,
Uh-huh.
so it's not necessary. And those that amounts of plastics can uh, do or can affect the oceans or the planet. Yeah.
Pollute.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, what actions have they done in Australia lately?
Um, when okay, when the wildfire started in Australia, they tried to uh, make a call to the Australian government, and they tried to. Obviously, it was a dangerous situation for everybody in Australia, but something that they did, it was to sign up um, documents in
Yes.
order to like in order to get more mm, actions against the global warming in like general aspects. Okay, and the other ones were that I don't know if you have heard about this girl from
Canada?
no this activist. Mm, I don't know.
I think she's from,
She's
isn't she
from
from
Europe. Yeah, Greta, something
Greta?
like that.
Uh-huh.
Greta, yeah. And this Greenpeace with Greta, they Greta went to uh, a specific meeting in Europe and tried to say, hey, the nations, this part of the earth, they have to be more aware of the damage of the globalization. uh, and Greenpeace, in a certain way, they sponsor her in order to go to that meeting and in order to say that. Yeah. So They're trying to call the attention
I didn't know
in
that.
a peaceful way.
Okay. How do they invite people to join the organization?
Okay, they have created an app. For
Uh-huh.
example, if you look for Greenpeace activists, it is an app, and there are a lot of things that you can do in order to help to Greenpeace in order to show their message. Yeah, I download the app, and for example, if you want to post an article about, for example, the single use plastics in Colombia, you can download the content and you can share your that information in Facebook or include
Uh-huh.
uh, by WhatsApp, like status or something like that. It's very helpful.
And easy. Okay. Very good. Any question for Henry?
I don't listen you, Leonardo.
No, we can hear you well.
Yes, can you hear?
A little bit.
More or less.
Yes. Have Greenpeace done any actions, first actions, like for example, when they come back in Japan, when they kill off, they use another ship to combat the kill of whales, something like this
Okay,
here.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, they already have a ship, and they are trying to protect the sharks and the whales. Yeah. Um, One of the actions that I read that they are used to do is that they go to international waters and try to follow or to chase those ships that are killing whales in mm, like yeah, like those ships are killing whales, but like for fun, I think so. I don't know, like I
Okay.
don't know how to say that, but yeah, they try to stop the the, the fishing of of the the sharks or the whales. I don't know how to this. I don't know how to say that, but they are fighting against those ships.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other question for Henry? All right, so finally we have two more sentences to correct. Here we have Greenpeace has been protesting to different supermarkets, has tried to invite Almacenes Éxito in order to end their levels of single-use plastics in their products. So the mistake in this sentence is related to the tenses that are used. either we use present perfect or we use past. So because we are talking about two actions, so how can we correct it?
The first one, the fifth one, the trainings are made.
No, is number 7 the one that we're checking?
Oh, okay,
The
got
one
it,
about
sorry.
We could use present perfect.
and how can we correct it?
Greenpeace has
Protected.
protested.
We have to delete the bean. The ing and add ID.
Greenpeace has protested against
Against
Against different
Against.
supermarkets. Different.
against
the other-
different supermarkets in Colombia. What else?
and it has
Uh-huh.
it has tried to invite
Has tried to invite Almacenes Éxito to end
and
their levels of single-use plastics in their products. Good.
Teacher, we can use their present perfect because we are referring to an action from the past who has an impact in the present.
Exactly.
And and maybe because we don't have the date or when that happened, that is used in past simple, no?
Yes, so we use, as you mentioned, present perfect in when we don't have an exact time when the action finish, and because the action has continues in the present. That's why we have here the present in the auxiliary have, because the action started in the past that continues in the present. And as you mentioned, we don't have an exact time when the action finished, so it continues.
So teacher, what is the difference between, for example, the present perfect continues? If the present perfect is an action which continues, so what use present perfect continues for?
Uh,
Maybe we want to emphasize the
we could say here with present perfect, we could mention the time when it started. We could say Greenpeace has protested against different supermarkets for about 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
Or Greenpeace has been protesting.
Yes.
No, the thing is that when we use a present perfect continuous, we are expressing that the action already continues.
It hasn't finished yet.
Yeah, but it also happens with present perfect. It has not finished.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain that. Ha protestado y ha estado protestando. Las dos acciones tienen aún una continuidad en el presente. Y para las dos podemos usar el número de tiempo, el tiempo que se ha estado haciendo la acción.
We can use since and for both.
Ajá.
Yeah.
Well, I'll check the grammar book and I'll let you know what is exactly the difference or what is the restriction for using one or the other.
Okay, teacher. Perfect. And another question regarding the same, the present perfect versus present simple, because in the presentation I did, I said, for example, or your example, or the example you gave us to do the activity, and the foundation has taught. Uh, it is possible to say too the foundation teach. What
Yeah,
is the
the
difference?
foundation teaches.
Yes,
Well,
teaches.
the idea with the present simple is that
It is
it is
the
used
person.
when we talk about habits, routines. So the
Teaches.
foundation teaches, let's say, culture or arts better to so here I'm expressing something that is a habit or that is a routine for the
And it's
foundation.
a permanent state, no?
Yes, it's permanent. It's something that is a routine or a habit.
Maybe we want, if we use present perfect, we want to emphasize that it has started since the past, no? Maybe, or I don't know, because we can use, for example, in that case, I think present perfect, the foundation has taught to people who, has taught arts to people who belong to poor communities.
Yeah, so I want here to, as you mentioned, to emphasize that it continues, that the action started in the past and continues in the present. But also I can mention here when it started.
Sin or
While in the one before, it is not possible to say when it started because it's a habit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
here maybe because I have the opportunity to say when
since
the action started in
2000.
the
For,
past.
okay.
Since and for, you can use some.
Since
Okay.
since when you're going to talk about a specific
Specific
year,
dates, years, yeah.
and for when you want to say the number of years.
Time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for 20 years, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah. Okay. Then we have the last sentence. In Australia, recently Greenpeace sent a call. So how can we correct it?
Recently,
Sent.
So it's the past form that I need to use here.
it is okay if I use recently at the
Usually? No.
recently.
No,
Recently.
because usually is used to express frequency, to express
So,
a habit.
yeah.
Teacher, he meant that recently at the, maybe I understood that,
At the beginning
before,
of the
yeah,
sentence.
before
Yeah.
Greenpeace.
I can, yes, I can use it before.
Okay.
Recently,
In Australia.
in Australia, Greenpeace sent a call.
Can I say recently in Australia, Greenpeace has sent a call?
But it already, the action of sending the call is something that happens in a specific moment of the time.
Okay. Okay.
So it's not possible to say that it has a continuity. Some
Maybe
for some actions, the action is cannot be done for a moment of time, for a long period of time. It happens in a specific moment. So when you hit something, when you throw something, so you cannot say that you have done that for a long period of time.
maybe teacher, the present perfect could be used if it's recently just, if use the just. Recently, Greenpeace has just said a call. I don't know, maybe.
No, when we say has just
Acaba de.
sent a call is because it happened some minutes before. So I
Sí.
cannot say recently, but Greenpeace has just sent a call. Lo acaba de hacer.
Okay.
So anytime you want to say que algo se acaba de hacer, we need to use present perfect. I've just wrote the email. Okay, any question about this?
Teacher, I have seen that maybe that is in American English that they use they don't use the present perfect, but they use the past with the word just. Maybe
Past, like in what sentence?
I just wrote the email because I don't know. I think that the present perfect is more strict in British English than uh, in American English. No.
Let's say that grammar is, British people are more strict about grammar than American people. So, but I've always heard that they use at least the abbreviation of have. So it sounds very, uh,
Nice.
Week.
it sounds very fast. Yeah, like it's not that clear. I have, but I've just wrote the email. But I've heard that even in American English. So maybe in songs you will see that grammar is not that strict, or in the spoken American English. But usually when we use just, as I told you, we use the abbreviation for have. If I've just wrote the email. Right? Any other question?
No, teacher.
Okay, so we will stop the encounter now. And well, let me know if you have any question about the task that you have for next week, or the topic that you are studying in next week. You can email me if you have any question, okay? Or let me know during the next encounter. I will check the information about the difference between present perfect and present perfect continuous, and I will email you in some seconds. I will check it in the grammar book.
Perfect, teacher. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice night.
You too.
Okay,
Thank
teacher,
You.
thank you.
Thank you, teacher. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.